That is the inheritance. Last question. Verse 17. And if children, then heirs. So now we've seen best I can do with what the inheritance of the heirs is. Heirs of God, fellow heirs with Christ, provided if we suffer with him. What does that mean? Read a few passages that you're familiar with. Luke 9:23, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So if you want to follow Jesus, it involves cross bearing. 2 Timothy 3:12, indeed all who desire to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. Hebrews 12:6, the Lord disciplines those whom he loves and chastises every son that he receives. Chastises every son that he receives. It is for discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as sons. 1 Peter 4:13, to the degree that you share the sufferings of Christ, keep on rejoicing, so that also at the revelation of his glory you may rejoice. Here's the question I ask. So Paul, are you saying I got to get some persecution to go to heaven? And so I should say now to you, when you leave here, just make sure you go find somebody to treat you badly. And if you get treated badly this afternoon, you sleep well tonight, because you can know you're a Christian. I don't think that's the way Paul's thinking. I don't. In other words, I don't think a strategy for assurance is to seek out persecution. The text might look like that. If you suffer with him, you will be glorified with him. And if the suffering means persecution, you got to get some or you can't be glorified. Here's why I don't think he's thinking that way. Because the next verse says, for I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing to the glory that will be revealed. So the question is, what's that? Because that's the same suffering as verse 17, right? You didn't just start over again. If you, provided you suffer with him, in verse 17, you'll be glorified, because I consider that the sufferings of the present time, what are those? Well, to get that answer, you just read the paragraph. Creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God, for the creation was subjected to futility. Not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself might be set free from its bondage to decay. That's not persecution. That's the rotting of John Piper's body. That's kidney failure. That's loss of eyesight. That's loss of hearing. That's the degradation of the glorious creation because of the fall. And then you get to the part about we're groaning in our bodies, verse 23, waiting for our adoption. The Son. So my answer is what Paul is saying in verse 17 when he says, provided we suffer with him. You know, that the emphasis falls on with him because everybody's going to suffer. In other words, are you willing to stay with him through all your suffering? You're going to suffer, folks. Period. I don't care how rich you are. You can't run from it. You're going to suffer. The question is, will you do it with him? Will all your suffering be sanctified by the conscious confidence, this, for me, is discipline from my Father to knock all the props of self-reliance out from under my life so that I lean wholly on him. That was my answer to the question, why would he do this? Why would he make suffering the necessary path to the inheritance? And here's the reason. Because if we fallen people were not brought into trial after trial after trial, I would fall ever more deeply in love with the eases and comforts and prosperity and delights physically of my life and forget God. That's why. He knows us. He's a father. He disciplines all of his children. He knows a therapy that you need in order to make it to the inheritance. And the therapy is different for everybody. John Piper's suffering regimen is different from yours. I don't like mine. But I do not get angry at my God. I have a doctor who must break my leg to save me, or amputate it because it's got cancer. And I love my surgeon. I love him because he loves me far more than I love myself. So yes, if we suffer with him, if we don't shake our fist in his face and say, I'm out of here if this is the way you treat your children. I'm out of here. If you say that, you're gone. It's over. But if you say, Father, Daddy, I hate my sin more than I hate losing these pleasures. Have at me, Daddy, surgeon Daddy. Then you can know. Let's pray.